Hey guys, so I've been getting a lot of questions on Instagram, mainly via the DM, and I thought I would just come on here and do a bit of a Q&A and talk to you about some of the questions that I get asked and see if I can answer those for you. So the first question that I'm going to run through is, and I'm just going to read it from my notepad, so I'm reading the exact question. How do you sort and pack your items and know where they are when they sell? Okay, so this is pretty easy. So all my items are stored here in my garage, and you can see behind me that there's a whole heap of tubs. Now I've just got my garage door open there to give me a little bit more light because my light, ceiling light has actually blown in here, so I'm using a secondary light. But you can see behind me that everything is in tubs and everything is labeled with different numbers. So I'll just walk around here a little bit more, see if I can. So I've got more tubs over on this side, and there's black tubs behind me. These are also full, and the black tubs are mainly full of shoes and kind of miscellaneous things, and the clear tubs are all full of clothes. And yeah, they're all labeled. I can see through them. I can see when a tub is getting empty, and I can refill it some more, and I have a few empty tubs here waiting to go. I did start off with the black tubs, and I have to say that I much prefer the clear tubs because I can actually see the levels that are in them. So yeah, I definitely kind of wish I didn't buy the black tubs, but I've got them now, so I'm not going to waste any more money and buy new ones. So it is what it is. But yeah, basically in all the tubs, all the items are labeled. So where do I start? I get a lot of questions about how do I get to the bottom tub. You can see my tubs are 7 high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. 7 high. The way that I get to the bottom tub is I unstack them all, and really it takes me like 20 seconds. It's not a big deal. Yes, I know that shelves would be easier, but if I had shelves, I'd only fit 5 tubs to a shelf. So I've got a lot of rows of tubs, and I would just not have enough room in my garage to have shelves and store the extra tubs. So at the moment, for the level of stock that I've got, this works for me. But let me just get a tub down. Hold on. Okay, so for the person who asked how do I know where all my items are, I use the SKU in the back end of the eBay system. Now the SKU is something that you get when you have an eBay store. If you only have a personal account, you don't actually have access to the SKU. But if you have a store, you get an extra little field to fill in when you're doing your listing, and it says SKU, and basically that listing is hidden to any of your customers. So you can write whatever you want in that SKU, but I personally write exactly where my item is so I know exactly where to find it. So if my item was in box AA, it would say AA, and then it would have the item number, and then it would have how much I've paid for it. There's a few reasons for that, and I'll go through that in a second. I'm going to go to my computer in a minute and show you where the actual SKU is on a listing. But just so you can see, I'm going to put this down. I've pulled one of the boxes down. All my items in the box have numbers on them. So, for instance, this item has number 216 on it. So, for instance, if I was putting this into the SKU, it would be whatever this box number is, which is N, and then it would say slash 216, and then it would say slash $5, or however much I've paid for that item. And that's exactly how I know when it is. So when I'm getting an order, I can view the SKU on my order, and basically I just have to come into exactly where it tells me that item is in box N and it's number 265 or whatever it is. The reason why I put numbers on them and I don't just shove the item in box N is because what I was finding is I was selling like a lot of, say, black skirts or black shorts or just black things, and they all look exactly the same when they're folded into like a snap lock bag. So for me, just by putting an individual number into the bag, it just means I don't have to sometimes open up bags to make sure I've got the right item. I simply know that that is the exact item that I need. Okay, I store all my books on shelving, and it's exactly the same process as if it was in a tub. All my shelving is labelled B5, B6, B1, whatever the number of the shelf is. And basically it's very simple. In the SKU it'll say under my book listing, okay, this particular book is on B5/1 for $1, if that's what I've paid for it. So it's very simple. There's not that many books on each shelf, so it makes it quite simple to just come in here and find the particular book that I've sold. So I just wanted to show you quickly where the SKU is on a listing. So like I said before, if you don't have a store, you won't have the custom SKU. It's a bonus to when you get a store, and that's because you're stocking a lot of inventory. So the reasons it's there is so that you can track your inventory. But you can see here that on this particular listing, I've put the SKU in. So the Y is my box number. The 1036 means that's the individual number I've given it inside its little plastic bag like I showed you. And the 2 means that I've paid $2 for that item. The reason why I put the price of how much I paid for the item in the custom SKU is because when I'm out and about and somebody makes me an offer, I want to be able to look in my phone app and see what the SKU is, and I can see how much I've paid for that, so I know whether or not I'm going to make any money from the offer that might come in. So yeah, I might have this listed for $25 and an offer might come in for $20. I can look at my custom label there, the SKU, and go, okay, well, I've only paid $2 for that, so if I sell that for $20 minus the fees and my $2, I'm still going to make about $15 profit, so yes, I'm going to accept that offer. Otherwise, I can look at it and go, no, I'm not going to make enough, and I can decline, counter offer. So yeah, that's why I put the pricing that I've paid. And there's another reason for that also. At the end of the financial year, I can print out what's it called? I can print out all my levels of stock. So I can do a printout of all the items that I've got listed. And then I can work out exactly how much dollars worth my stock is valued at. I just have to go through and add them all up. I can just go highlight them and then add them up, and I'll know exactly what the dollar value is worth of my inventory. So yeah. Okay, so the next question that I have, and I'll just read it out, is do you use a spreadsheet of the items you have purchased and sold so you know your profits? Okay, this is a fairly individual question, because a lot of sellers do use a spreadsheet and track every single item of how much profit they've made on every individual item. I don't actually do that. So I do my books at the end of each month, and basically for me, it doesn't really come down to the individual item how much I've made. It's all about the total for me. So I do a spreadsheet monthly, but it's not individual, it's not itemized. For the real fact is, I don't have time to do that. When I first started, yes, I did that, and it gave me a good idea and let me know roughly how much profit I was making on different things, for how much I sold. And if you're just new to it, I would probably recommend that you do that for a little while, because it's definitely worthwhile to know exactly how much profit you're making. But now that I'm on a much bigger scale, that's just too time consuming for me. So I do it monthly, and it's basically a spreadsheet that has income in, which is all my sales, and then I have all my expenses. So I have postage, PayPal, eBay fees, shipping fees, storage containers, snap lock bags, satchels, stamps, bubble wrap, anything that I need as an expense gets tracked there. So I'm doing my profit as a whole. So sales in, expenses out equals profit. So I do that by the month, and then I'm currently saving about 20% every month for tax. This is my first year going full time, so I'm really not 100% on the tax rate, and don't quote me on it because I'm not an accountant and I'm not great with finances. So do talk to your accountant about how much tax you may need to be saving, because if this is a second job for you, you will probably have to save at a higher tax rate than what I do. But I basically take all the profits, I then put away 20% for tax. I then put a couple of $100 into super, and then the rest goes to paying off my bills and my debt. Yay, can't wait till that's done. Okay, so the next question I had was, let me just read it. What made you decide to go into an eBay store rather than a personal account? Okay, well that's quite an easy one for me because clearly I have a large amount of stock. But basically when you have a personal account, you get 40 from memory, don't quote me, but I think it's 40 free listings per month on a personal account. After that, you have to start paying per listing, extra per listing. So if you're only new and you're just starting out and you're trying to sell things that are from your personal belongings or just around your house, your own personal clothes, then that's a great way to start, because you don't want to commit to monthly store fees if you're not 100% you're going to like doing this, or you want to continue to do it on a consistent basis. So but then if you do decide that you want to sell on a consistent basis and you want to sell quite a lot of stock, then you're best to look at going into a store, because the store fees are actually quite minimal, and if you're on a personal account and you're paying per listing, it really does start to add up. So there's 3 levels of store, and there's the basic store, which I think has 500 or 600 items that you're allowed in your store before you have to start paying over. The second store, you're allowed 1,600 items, I think. And the third store is a massive jump and you get up to 10,000 items. So that's for real big business. So my main store is the middle one. So I'm allowed up to 1,600. I think it's 16, maybe it's 15. I need to check. It's about 1,600 items. I'm currently at around the 1,400 items. If I go over the 1,400 items, that's fine. I just have to pay a small amount per extra listing that I go over, and so you've just got to weigh that up with how big you want to grow. I probably can't grow much more than 1,600 in my main store because I'll run out of room here in my garage. So I'm kind of looking for the main store to be sitting at around that 1,600 items, and my main store is my clothes and my shoes and some books. Not all my books, but some of them. And yeah, so I think it's definitely worth going into a store if you're going to look at doing this, but just gradually go up on the store. Don't just automatically sign up for the big 1,600 store. Go to the first level one once you get to 600, and then you decide, are you planning to sell a lot more than 600 items? How big do you want your store to go? So they're the kind of decisions that will, lead you to what store that you need to do. But definitely in the beginning, just start off with the free 40 and see how you go, because eBay's not for everyone, and that's okay. Some people just don't like it, and it's very time consuming once you start building a larger store. So don't underestimate the time that's involved in eBay. It does become very time consuming, and definitely if it's not for you, it's not for you. But that's all I can say is start with your free listings. If you want to continue, move up to the first basic store level, which is about 600, and then just play it by ear and see how you go from there. Okay, let's go to the next question. And it is income in a store reported to the ATO? The ATO is our tax. Yes, it is. And basically the ATO considers anything with the intention to make money is a business. So gone are the days when you could have a bit of a side hobby that could earn you a certain amount of money and you didn't have to claim it. That's not the case anymore. The case is if you make the intention to make money, then you need to pay tax. So if you're buying something to resell, you're obviously intending to make money. You're intending to make profit. Easy. So yes, you need to claim it. So to do eBay, you need to keep all your receipts. Keep everything. eBay has great spreadsheets that you can download that tell you your monthly sales and fees and yada yada, but you need to keep all your other receipts, your postage receipts, your tub receipts, your bubble wrap receipts, your washing machine powder receipts if you're washing clothes. Every little thing you buy for your business, you keep those receipts. You have separate accounts so that you can track all your income and expenses and you run it as a business. Now, this video isn't to talk about how to running a business. That is something that you need to learn yourself, and you need to research that yourself because there's a lot involved in running a business. But even if you're not 100% sure on all that stuff, just ensure you're keeping every single receipt in a box, and you'll be able to talk to an accountant down the track later on about that. But keep all your receipts, and yes, you claim everything through the ATO. Okay, the next question I had is, what is a death pile? So in the reselling community, there's a lot of little lingos that everybody uses, and a death pile is one of them. So what is a death pile? Well, quite simply, that's just the pile of stuff that you've got sitting there that's waiting to list and sell. And quite often with resellers, they get into a habit. The fun part of reselling is actually going out thrifting and buying new stock. So a lot of resellers get caught up with constantly going to the thrift shops or wherever they're buying their stock from, and they build and build and build it up, and they don't list it. So then it's just sitting there, and that's why they say it's a bit of a death pile, because then it becomes very overwhelming when you look at it and go, oh my goodness, I've got all this stuff that I need to photograph and list and pack and deal with. So I try to keep no death pile. I basically try to shop, bring it home, photograph, list it, get it away, so that I'm not building up a heap of stuff. And you know, sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes life is busy, and sometimes I do develop a bit of a death pile. Sometimes I make it to the shops more than I make it to photograph and list. It's just how it is. But try to, I think there's a variety of reasons why sometimes it's good to have a death pile, because if you're having a quiet week or month, or eBay's having glitches like it is at the moment, you might not have much profit coming in, and you might not have a lot of money to go and buy new stock. So if you've got a death pile there, you can pull from that, and you don't have as many expenses maybe for that month. But personally, I don't like the death pile. It overwhelms me. If I have stuff sitting around that's not listed, it starts to gather, and quite frankly, I don't have enough room. I don't have a spare bedroom. My death pile seems to develop on my dining room table, and it's not good. So yeah, basically some people call it a money pile as well, because it's money waiting to make you money. But at the end of the day, it can't make you money if it's not listed. So get that stuff listed and try to keep on top of your death pile, because what ends up happening is you end up cherry picking your death pile. You go through, pick out the good stuff that you want to list first, and then you leave all the stuff that you think, oh, wish I never bought that. Why did I buy that? Oh, that's creased. Oh, I don't want to have to iron that, So I think if you buy stuff, come home, photograph it and list it straight away, you don't have those same feelings, because you've just gone and bought it. So you've obviously thought it was good enough to buy, but if it sits there for long enough, it could sit there in a death pile for 6 to 12 months. And by the time you get to it, you just think, why did I even buy that rubbish? So yeah, that's what a death pile is. Okay, on to the next question. What have you had the most success in selling? Well, I basically sell clothes, shoes, accessories, books, and I sell a few kids things like plush toys and miscellaneous items, but I am probably 80% clothes. So I guess that's what I've had the most success in, but I think that's just depends. Everybody sells different things, you know. I'm not the greatest hard goods seller. I don't know enough about it. I'm not into gaming. I don't know about all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of money to be made in media and gaming if you're into that kind of stuff. I'm personally not. I don't have a clue. I hardly even know who a Star Wars figure is. But basically, just sell what you know and what you're good at. And, you know, if you've got an interest in something and you are knowledgeable about that item, then go sell it. I'm not particularly knowledgeable about designer brands of clothes. I'm a very simple woman. I am jeans, like this, t-shirt, tracksuit pants. I'm not in with designer brands. I don't even own a handbag. So I sell mainly mall type brands, shopping mall. You know, I'm selling you basic brands because that's what I know and that's what I'm good at. So just sell what you're good at, and I think if you sell what you're good at and what you know, then that's what you'll be successful in. Okay, so the next question I've got is, how long did it take you to start making profit? Was it months or was it by listings? So I'm presuming what this person means is, did I hit a certain amount of listings and then start making money? Or did it just go by however many months that I've been doing it? Well, it's a tricky question. I think for the first year, nearly all the money that I made went straight back into the business. So I think on paper, it was only a couple of $1,000s in profit, really. But that was kind of when I was more dabbling with eBay. This financial year, I am definitely making money. And I took this full time in April, so that's when I decided that I was really going to amp this up, not go back to my other job, and give it my all. And so yeah, so definitely I've been really tracking this financial year. So you know, July, August, September, now nearly October. But yeah, I'm definitely making money every month, and my sales are good. I'm hoping to do 100K in sales this financial year, but you just never know with eBay. It's got its moments, so maybe I won't, but that's definitely my goal, is to do 100K in sales. That's not profit. Don't mistake that for profit. But yeah, that's my goal. But yeah, maybe at the end of the financial year, I'll after doing this for a year full time, I'll be able to come in and actually talk more about profit and that. But yeah, definitely I think for the first while you're growing a business, you need to put money in. You know, it's expensive to buy things like all these tubs and shelving and get yourself really set up with everything that you need. So yeah, definitely I think it takes a little while to make profit if you're running it as a business. But if you just want to sell a few things from home, you're going to make profit straight away. Okay, so the next question is, how many stores do you operate and what is the benefit from having multiple stores? Okay, so I have 3 stores, but I have my main store, which is sitting at about 1,400 listings. I have a second store, which is sitting at a few hundred, and the third store is only around 100. So the reason why I have multiple stores is, because the first, I didn't open, I'll just go back a little bit. So I didn't open the second store until I hit about 1,200 on, close to 1,200 anyway, on my main store. And the reason for that is that I was fully aware that I can only have about 1,600 items in the main store before I have to go up to the new subscription. So I thought I'll open up a second store so I can get that going slowly, because when you open up a brand new store, it actually takes quite a long time to build some feedback, get some people trusting you, and there's restrictions on brand new accounts. So it actually takes a while to develop a second account. So Yeah, I think I probably wouldn't recommend doing a second store until you hit around that 1200 mark. I don't think it's necessary at all. I think you're better to put all your time and effort into your main store and really grow that and grow the feedback and really get that moving. But yeah, I've got the second store, and I primarily sell books on my second store, but you know, they're not, most of my really good books I put on my main store. The books that I think are going to make me really good money, I'll put on my main store mainly. But I've picked up a lot of books along the way for free, and a lot of them, they're not big earners, and I didn't really want them on the main store, so I've kind of kept them a bit separate. And you know, the third store, I'm just kind of selling a bit of this and a bit of that. It's a real mixed bag, that store, and to be honest, I don't list on the second and third store daily, and I don't always get daily sales on the second and third store. I'm just working on them slowly, and as soon as the first store is full at capacity, then I'm going to really start working hard on the second store, because then I'll just be maintaining the first store, the levels. So pretty much what's selling is what I will list and maintain, and then the second store is what I will work on to pump up, and the third store. So yeah, I have to say 3 stores is hard to manage. I have to constantly log in, log out, log in, log out. And in hindsight, I wish I'd only done the 2. So yeah, just be careful with multiple stores. I'm not sure that having 3 is great for me, but and maybe I'll let the third one go at some stage and just put them all in the first and second store. But yeah, I'm just kind of playing with it all a little bit now, knowing that my main store is almost at capacity. So yeah, the second and third store I'm just kind of toying with and gradually building up. So they don't bring me a huge amount of money. They don't bring me a huge amount of sales. Some days I get no sales. Sometimes it's just 1 or 2. But yeah, they're kind of set up mainly just to kind of build at the moment, build some feedback, and just have the store there ready to go for if I need it, or if anything goes wrong or goes down with the main store. So yep. Okay, so the next question was, how do you decide what stock to put in one store, or do you just randomly put stuff between the stores? Okay, well, the first store, the main store, is definitely based around clothes and shoes. There's a few other items listed in the store, but I do try and keep that store to just clothes and shoes or clothing accessories. The second store, I threw all the cheap free books that I got that weren't great, and I kind of thought, look, I didn't pay any money for these, I'll just chuck them on and see what we get. And I've kind of just decided along the way to keep that store as mainly books and things that are similar to books, I guess. When I actually go sourcing and buy nice books, I quite often put those books on the main store because they're books that I've chosen. But a lot of the second store is books that I've been given or picked up for free in the trash or whatever, and they're not all particularly great, but some of them I might need to discard in, you know, a little while if they're just not selling, if they're just dead stock. But yeah, I'm just kind of playing that by ear, and the second store may change a little bit once I'm at full capacity for the first store and I'm actually working on that second store more. Then I might actually mix it around and change it a little bit. And the third store, yes, that is just a real random mix. Plush toys, DVDs, ornaments, just random rubbish that I'm either experimenting with or testing out, or cheaper things like the DVDs that I don't send with registered post. I want to avoid getting any negative feedback in case they don't arrive and I don't have any tracking on them. So I try and keep them separate. So yeah, look, definitely there is a little bit of a method to my madness, but again, the newer stores, store 2 and 3, they are still a bit of a work in progress. I might get rid of store 3. I'm not entirely sure. I'm still toying with all that, and I probably won't know until I've really maxed out the capacity of the main store, and then I'm bringing in extra stock. I might start adding clothes to store 2 or 3 as well, just because I can pick up more than I am selling. You know, because I'll just be maintaining the first store once it's full at capacity. Whatever sells, I pretty much restock. So if I'm bringing in extra clothes, I still want to get them listed, so they might end up going on to stores 2 or 3. So yeah, it's all a little bit of a learning journey for me at the moment, and I'm all playing that by ear. So yeah. So guys, that's it for today, but you know, I'm always happy to answer any questions. So yeah, keep sending me questions on Instagram, and you know, in another couple of weeks, if I've got enough questions, I'll do another video. I'll just keep jotting them down on some paper, making note of what you want to know, and I'm more than happy to do some more videos for you guys. So yeah, thank you for following me. Thanks for always you know, being interested in what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And you know, I love getting your questions, so yeah, keep them coming through. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and yeah, hit the little bell there so that you get notifications when I come on. And yeah, thanks so much guys. Bye.